Hey, my Legion. I'm here with my buddy John. We're going to be reviewing Zombie Town from R.L. Stine. Off of Hulu. Inside Braids. Send more paramedics. Anyways, this was like, based off this one guy with like a famous, there's some homage to it. It's like his zombie movie, but I think it had probably a mild PG-13 rating because there were some scenes where zombies were covered with blood. I mean, so it probably wasn't a PG, but probably borderline anyways. And it revolves around this town named after this director, last name was Carver, played by Dan Ackroyd, who made like this famous zombie movie, Night at the Mausoleum.
Oh, a bunch of famous movies.
A bunch of famous movies. And then they, so much so that they named the town after him, Carverville. And that probably homage to George Romero and the town of Pittsburgh. And
Pittsburgh's not named after George Romero.
well, no. But I mean the town he's popular in. The city he's popular in, though. I mean, but you know what I mean. I suppose like Pittsburgh.
Still is or not? He moved to Canada a long time ago.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Well, they still have that mall museums thing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but he's famously from Pittsburgh, just like John Walters is famously from Baltimore, Maryland. You know. So I mean, that's the way I look at it, anyways. And they showed like they had a scene from the movie, and they said like, yeah, they were psyched, but they were gonna play. He came back from retirement to play another movie, and a bunch of people all psyched about it. And one kid that works at the theater didn't like his movies. And whenever they brought in this, he brought in this movie, and it was like just a short reel. There's different continuity errors in it. And it looked like there's like a small, that movie might be half hour because it's like one reel. It wasn't filled all the way. And it turned out it was just blank. When they played it, was just a blank, it played just a blank screen. And what it did was it turned all the viewers that watched into zombies. And the zombies in this movie didn't eat people, but I mean what they did was they got somebody and they would zap them with lights coming out of their eyes and mouth and turn them into a zombie.
They'd suck their souls.
Yeah, suck their souls out.
Soul
Yeah.
stealers instead of eating brains.
Yeah. I mean, that'd be too... I mean, this is mainly like a teenager movie, but I mean, that's fine, too. Like a tweener movie.
What he wrote.
Yeah, that's what he wrote. That's what he wrote.
Stine wrote for young crowds.
Yeah. Which is fine, though. I mean, you know, that's fine with me. I don't mind stuff like that. And the one scene where, like, they had the mom putting a baby in there, you think that she turned the baby into a zombie. It was like... I mean, but I didn't really... It didn't faze me that much. A little disturbed, but it wouldn't faze me. And it had Dan Ackroyd play the one director. And Chevy Chase was in the movie, too. Which led me to think, did Chevy Chase give him a tough time, too? Because he's a real a-hole, right? Asshole. And he's in the movie, and he played it seriously. Because I know he was complaining about... there was a famous phone call that got sent to one guy from Community saying, hey, this stuff ain't funny. Remember? I don't know if you remember that phone call. They played it on the years back. Anyways, basically most of the movie is about how they tried to get like the town back to normal if they could. And it's in they had two of the guys from Kids from the Hall in there too. I mean, there's some comedy in there. Some of it's funny. Some of it's, yeah.
So they had two people from Saturday Night Live,
yep,
and two people from Kids in the Hall.
Kids Hall, yep. And
both produced by Lorne Michaels.
Lorne Michaels, yep. And also they had like some homages, like I said, that was an homage to Night of the Living Dead. And they had this one girl that was made up that looked like that girl that's in the basement in Night of the Living Dead.
Who I got to meet, a really nice lady.
Oh, really nice lady. Oh,
I can't
cool.
think of her name off the top of my head.
Oh, that's awesome.
She came up to Erie Horror Fest.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
So, I mean, horror fans are immortal. Because I wanted to mention that one thing with Argento, that Jennifer Connelly, who starred in his movie Creeper, the Phenomenon. Phenomenon. And I remember on Conan O'Brien, they said they couldn't find a clip of that, but one of their crews had that movie because it's a cult classic, but they were shitting all over it, and she says it's the worst movie you ever seen. And she was promoting a horror movie called Dark Waters, but no one wanted to see. That was a huge flop. And and then like she's all behind the act. They'll talk about Once Upon a Time in America. They will not mention that movie. And as a cult classic, it's a shame that she won't mention that movie because horror fans are forever. But I think she's ashamed of it. But that was a great movie. Anyway, like I said, horror fans are forever, though. Just like Betsy Palmer from Friday the 13th. Anyways, like I was thinking, like that Chevy Chase would give them a tough time. And I remember, like remember seeing Good Bad Flicks. They were talking about that movie, exploring that Nothing But Trouble, which I love that movie. A lot of people hated it.
I'm one.
You're in the majority because I was one of the few people that I loved it because I'm just weird. Cause I remember seeing that, but boy, it's getting a lot of hate.
I'm bored with it.
Oh, you're bored with it? Oh,
I boring. I'm like,
that's
really funny.
I just dug how bizarre it was. I got it. I remember that was one of the last movie I rented when I was in Fort Detrick, Maryland, before leaving. I remember, like, I used to read People magazine when I was waiting to get my hair cut in Fort Bragg. And they have a movie section. They said Nothing But Trouble. It says, the title says all. Yes, it is. Because I had no publicity or anything like that. I didn't see it. My friend went to see it, and he said it was a really weird movie. I said, well, I got to see this. Because it was weird. Anyway, there was a thing where they were saying, like, Chevy Chase and Dan Ackroyd were both in it. And Dan Ackroyd directed the movie, showing how generous he was. All the crew loved him, and all the crew hated Chevy Chase. So there's there's a mid-credit and end-credit scene in the movie. And right at the very end, they show like all the cast members, and they show a certain person. I don't want to be a spoiler to give away, but the next scene ruins like a big reveal that they could have had if they would have showed his face in that. They should have just left him off the credits and then showed him there. It would have been a bigger surprise.
No, they should just reverse the two.
Yeah, reverse the two. That would have made more sense. Yeah, that would have made more sense. And then at the very end, they said this is the wrap for the movie. Then Dan Ackroyd said something really cool, like this big poem, like, it's not, and then he left, on a high note, and then everyone looked at Chevy Chase, and then he was like, what's going on? He just said a curse word, probably the F word.
Well, no, it's like he was being funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's like everyone was ignoring him. Oh, what the fuck about me? Or something like that.
Yeah.
I forget what it was now. But he was just being funny.
Yeah.
Because it's like, they did a big introduction to Dan Ackroyd, but not Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
Because, and I think that was all just a big joke because it's like when movies or shows do an end of wrap, they'll say, and this is the last episode of the show. This is end of, I forget the wording, with Jason Callan. Ooh, yeah.
Yay.
And,
the Bubblehead Part 5.
So they did that to Dan Ackroyd, but didn't do that to Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
And I think they're all just clowning around.
Oh.
I don't think he was being a dick. Because he's like, what the fuck about me?
I don't know. But I know there was a big rivalry
right.
between the two of them.
Right, but I think they were just all screwing around at the end.
That's possible.
If you paid attention.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So I guess that's it for me. I give it like a 7 out of 10.
I had about 5 out of 10.
That's about normal. It's all right. It's nothing like earth-shattering. Mm-hmm. Because I think it gets bogged down in its own like lore. It got a little bit overly complicated. I didn't think it was complicated, but just the stuff at the end with Chevy Chase.
Oh no, that stuff bothered me. It makes sense. A lot of the acting was just
Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't it was funny a little bit, yeah. But I thought it was passable enough. And it wasn't, it got to the point of, if it would have been, it's only like an hour 24. If it would have been like longer.
Hour 34.
Hour 34, sorry. If it would have been longer, it'd be like these up to 2.5 hour long movies. That'd been way too long, Mm-hmm. They could have even cut out 10 minutes. That wouldn't have really mattered. I don't think. So like I said, I give it like a mild 7 out of 10. So that's it for my review of Zombie Town with me and my buddy John. So until next one, please take care, my Legion.